All impacts from Winter Storm Hunter still on the move right now on this Friday afternoon. I guess it's still Friday morning on the East Coast, 11:30 local time. Thanks for staying with us for our continuing coverage of Winter Storm Hunter. Meteorologist Paul Goodlow. And the winter storm continues to dump a combination of heavy rain, some freezing rain, some sleet, and some heavy snow as well as it continues to march across the country. We have team coverage out there right now. Let's begin currently with what's going on the radar. We're seeing temperatures in central Tennessee in the mid to upper 20s, 28 degrees in Nashville right now. We have some light snow, and earlier we had some freezing rain. Western Tennessee seeing some moderate to heavy snow. We put this through the next couple of hours, and we see maybe a break in the snow, but then heavier snow comes through Nashville as we head all afternoon long. Maria LaRosa is live in Nashville. We'll have another report coming up from her momentarily, but overall, by 1 o'clock, the snow is all gone, but temperatures... They were 69 yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock. They'll be at least 40 degrees colder this afternoon at 3 o'clock with snow coming down. Let's get the very latest on what's going on with this winter storm and when we might even see temperatures get above freezing, and check in with Dr. Greg Postel this morning. Greg?
Yeah, probably not till very late next week across parts of central Tennessee and Nashville in particular. But notice what's going on in this part of the country, in southern Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, Alabama. There's rain and then there's snow. And there's not a lot in between, right? So we got the rain and the warmth over here, relatively speaking, and the colder and the much more nasty winter weather over here, but not a lot of oranges here showing up on the radar, meaning the radar detecting freezing rain. That's a good thing. Right in here, we kind of shut down the precipitation. That's associated with a little bit of a dry slot and some subsidence, some sinking air around this upper level low, which is right here. So there's a cold pocket aloft, an upper level low right in there, and the air coming around it is subsiding and kind of squashing the whatever precipitation was trying to fall in that region. That's good news. It means, at least in this part of the country, that dry slot has reduced the amount of freezing rain that we expect. Love it. But we're still going to get some snow as that parent upper level low moves in. And you can see Nashville will likely be snowing, Lexington, Kentucky, maybe Louisville as well, over to Knoxville. This is going to be the theme overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. That's associated with the upper level low moving through, bringing the lift in the atmosphere and the cold air throughout the column, ensuring all snow and not any freezing rain. It's a little bit of a different story up here, parts of the Ohio Valley. We're getting more of a mix in between the rain and the snow, and that is also going to be, I think, a little bit more lasting here. We'll get a little bit more of that transition in between the rain and the snow. In other words, this freezing rain zone might just indeed set up later on this evening from southern Ohio, western PA, and New York State. I still think this model's a little aggressive in forecasting the coverage of freezing rain, but still, I think right in that swath, there will be some. And there will be snow to follow, and of course, much colder air. That's the sure thing, right? Forget about the precip type. No matter what happens, it is going to get a lot colder over the weekend. This is a new updated map about how much icing and freezing rain potential we think. Notice that in the south, we've dropped some of those numbers that were going for closer to 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. Not so much. Thanks to that dry slot, that drier air, now we're down to less than 1/10 of an inch. That still could cause a glaze of ice on everything, right, and make the roads very difficult to travel on. So certainly slippery times all the way from Tennessee up through Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia as well, in addition to a little bit of snow on top of that, to the tune of this amount. In the Northeast, we'll get a little bit more snow. As I said, probably also a little bit more freezing rain and accumulation of ice, but a lot of snow in some places in western New York State. This number may be a little bit too high as well across that region, but still we'll be watching very closely. But notice, I-95 corridor, even southeastern and central New Hampshire, not getting much snow with this one. It's a little bit too warm. The storm track was like this. If it were a little bit farther to the east, we would have had more snow closer to the coast, but it didn't happen that way. We'll just have to wait till next week. Maybe. We'll talk about that later. Paul, back to you.
All right, thanks, Dr. Postel. Let's take a live look right now at Pittsburgh, also on the wet side of Winter Storm Hunter. We've been dealing with rain all morning long, sitting at 55 degrees right now. And the concern is we have the concern for flooding. Our ground has been frozen. Now it's just barely thawed out, but not that deep. We've had snow on the ground. That's melted with our thaw, but now temperatures are about to crash back into the 20s and teens as we head on towards tonight and tomorrow throughout the rest of the weekend as well. And because of that and the rain falling right now, we have the big concern of flooding. Flash flood watches stretching from eastern areas of Ohio through much of Pennsylvania into New England for that big concern of snow melt, even ice jams on rivers, and just potential maybe 1, 2, 3 inches of rain falling from the wet side of the storm system. Again, the same storm system that gave California the heavy rain and the resulting mudslides. Same system giving us that rain here across the east and areas of New England right now, which is still bringing some heavy rain into areas of eastern Tennessee, northern Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina, all seeing that as well. But the backside, that's that cold air coming on through Mississippi. Reports of snow in Starkville, reports of decent amounts of snow in northern Mississippi and western Tennessee right now. We could quickly pick up 1 to 3 inches of snow from this system, but it's the rain that could cause a lot of flooding before things start to freeze over. So another big hard freeze coming in with the system, and many people staying in the deep freeze for days, if not a week or more to come. Tonight, rain showers still with us across the Carolinas, Mid-Atlantic, I-95 corridor. And then tomorrow, the cold air rapidly starts to rush in. The one long holdout, the last to change over, will be the Cape and the Islands as we head on towards, say, lunchtime into the early afternoon hours of your Saturday. But before that changes over and the rain stops and changes to snow, we can still see a good swath of New England picking up 1 to maybe 3 inches of rain before some areas of western New York and parts of Vermont, New Hampshire could pick up maybe a ½ foot to a foot of snow, and the southeast as well. A quick 1 to 2 inches of rain possible with the system. And look at this little bullseye of decent snow, moderate snow back there in western Tennessee by the tune of maybe 1 to even 6 inches of snow. Temperatures in the 20s and not warming up anytime soon. Raleigh, rain showers today, rain showers tonight, and sunshine tomorrow. But we're talking temperatures a good 20 to 25 degrees colder tomorrow, despite the fact you'll see plenty of sunshine across this area. One area that could use some sunshine and some above freezing temperatures is Nashville, Tennessee. Is check in with Maria LaRosa. And Maria, your temperatures now below freezing. They might not get above freezing until perhaps for a brief few hours on Monday.
And then those temperatures will crash again, right? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. What you're seeing out here right now because of Winter Storm Hunter is sort of this wet snowflake flurry. We have that heavier, steadier snow off to the west. In Nashville, though, you can see the roadways are just wet right now, but seeing some reports over social media that there are icy spots absolutely on some of the interstates right now. So don't think that just because it's wet that it's okay to drive, because it could be freezing very quickly and very soon. As far as the next few hours, yes, we saw highs just a few degrees shy of a record high yesterday, upper 60s. We're now below freezing. We're staying below freezing through the weekend. The precipitation is going to stay with us through the evening. So if you are sitting home and thinking about grabbing those keys and heading out today in Middle Tennessee, definitely think twice, because it is not going to get easier as we get into the evening hours. By far, this could be the biggest snowstorm for Nashville this season, having only amounted to about a trace the entire season. We have had plenty of cold, though. Temperatures this month running more than 8 degrees below average. And as you know, with that forecast, there is more in store. Checking in with the airport, it is open and operational, but as always, recommending you check with any flights. We'll see how that plays out as we get into the evening hours. But the overall theme here, word of caution, travel will be dicey and it'll be cold. We'll be